Thank you for the beautiful introduction, Zenshin. And yes, today is going to be another inquiry into the precepts. And in particular, on this Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all mothers, the great mother of this planet, and all the mother energy within all of us. And so with that flavor of the day, I want to turn to the 10th precept of Hollow Bones, which is steward the earth. And as many of you may know, and some newcomers may not know, this precept is special to Hollow Bones. In the traditional Buddhist precepts, there isn't one like this. We don't find similar versions. This is one that Jumpo and the Sangha put together. And to read it out, it's steward the earth. I hold sacred this planet Earth. I seek to understand nature's interconnections and celebrate my own interdependency. I work toward achieving a lifestyle that gives more back to this earth than I take from it. So the title of the precept is Steward the Earth, to become a steward to the earth, and to hold sacred this planet Earth. So sacred had the synonyms for sacred are something like hallowed or holy or untouchable. The synonyms for steward are to keep, to tend, and I would say to mother, to be a mother to things. And so I want to invite us to consider, we often think of this precept as around sacred stewardship, like a sacred style of stewardship. And I want to offer the reframe that really it's inviting us to become, to be a steward to the sacred, to see that this earth is not a separate object that we must take care of, that in fact, we are this earth. As Umi just reminded us in Qigong, to awaken the Qi within us, to awaken Qi, there is no separation of Qi. There's no internal Qi and external Qi. It is all Qi. It is all alive. It is all sacred. It is all pure awareness. And so when we steward the sacred, we tend to, we keep, we mother this sense of the sacred is in everything. We are sacred. The rocks and soil is sacred. The trees are sacred. The air, the space that goes beyond this planet for endless light years, all one, all sacred. I learned recently that the body, our human bodies, hold 50 trillion cells. 50 trillion cells. And that's a really hard number to wrap your head around. And so you might think of it if we were to start counting all of the cells in the body, and we counted 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 50 trillion, that would take 1,650,000 years. So to count all the parts of ourselves would take 1.5 million years. And of course, all those cells are changing and shifting all the time, millions and millions a day, in an ever evolving change, transition, impermanence. The poet Wendell Berry has a poem called "How to Be a Poet," and one of my favorite lines in it is he says, "Stay away from anything that obscures the place it is in. There are no unsacred places. There are only sacred places and desecrated places. There is no place on this earth, in this universe, where we can step or be or exist that is not sacred. It is only when we forget, when we lose sight, when we succumb to the delusion of separation, that think that somehow I'm an individual object in this great plane, and that I am bouncing off all the other objects, and that that's the purpose of life, is just to bounce around and take care of this object. When I forget that, in fact, we are the earth. I am the earth. We are nature. We are not separate from nature because we live in buildings and live in cities or drive cars. In fact, we are nature. Our cities are the termite hills of our species, right? They are the nests. It is our way of having a home, but not separate. So one of my practices to practice my stewarding of the sacred is I like to pick up trash. So I walk my dog, Trixie the dog, and we walk around our hill where I live in San Francisco, and I take a plastic bag and a trash grabber, picker-upper, and I just pick up trash around the hill. And I've been doing this for many years, and I'll fill up a couple of bags by the time I get home from our hour walk. And when I first started doing that, I think it was a little bit of OCD, like it just bothers me to see the trash around. I just want to pick it up. And then it was like, well, I'm doing a service. It's like an act of service. I'm doing something to give back. And there was this one time when I was up on top of the hill, and I had my picker-upper, my bag, and there was this family that was on the corner of the hill overlooking a valley. And it was a little bit of a windy day, and this family was celebrating, I'm pretty sure, Mother's Day. And they had these posters up that they had made, this family had made for their mom. And they were like, "We love you, Mom," and this and that. And the posters were all covered with glitter, little tiny bits of glitter glued onto the poster. And as I walked by, they were holding up these posters for Mom. I could see the glitter falling off of the posters and flying down the hill. Millions and millions of little tiny bits of plastic, gold and blue and red, just fluttering down the hill which I make a big effort to clean up and pick up. And I got mad. I was mad. I was like, what the hell are they doing? What is this? What, are you stupid? Are you ignorant? Like, what, don't you see what you're doing? And I continued walking down the hill, kind of steaming and feeling a lot of judgment. And then this older man walked by, like a bearded, white-haired man. And he turned to me and he had this big smile and said, "Oh, thanks for picking up the litter." And I was like, "Yeah, but did you see that lady? Did you see those people with the glitter, with all the stuff?" And, I was venting. And he looked at me and he kind of was like, "Sometimes you just need to let it go, right?" And I was like, okay. And I had this moment of like, wow, like, why am I picking up all this litter? What am I doing? Who's that about? Is that really service? Is that really me contributing something? Or is it just something that makes me feel better? Is it something that is like something in that, some aspect of serving my own interest? And I settled down, and I was really glad I didn't say anything to those people with their posters, as I really wanted to. And I went over and I just started picking up the glitter. And there was a lot of it. It was all down the hill. And I realized I was grateful that there was this glitter to pick up, because this is my practice. This is my way of remembering that this is all sacred. The glitter, the earth, the people, the mothers, and my service. It's all part of it. It's all one. And it took me about a year to pick up all that glitter up on the hill. I'd get about 15 or 20 little pieces every time I went up, and there was always more. And then one day it was gone. There wasn't any more glitter. this opportunity to serve as a steward to the sacred, this is the heart of the Bodhisattva vow. And as we learn from the Awakened One's vow, the reason for stewarding doesn't come from some need or craving. It comes because it's just the obvious thing to do. This realization has been the transformational moment, causing all of our masters and mentors, patriarchs and matriarchs, to experience true freedom and joy beyond comprehension, and to then extend tender care with a worshiping heart to all beings, beasts and birds, trees and flowers, even rocks and waters. So with the realization that we are all this glorious unfolding of truth, then extending tender care. The tender care arises from the realization. What else is there to do? What else is there to do but to share tender care with a loving heart for all beings, all of us, all beasts and birds, the rocks and the waters. As the poet Hafiz says, now is the time to know that everything you do is sacred. Jumpo loved to say, you know, if somebody comes to me and says they're enlightened, the first thing I want to know is, well, let me look in your refrigerator. What kind of food are you buying? What are you eating? How is your consumption in the world? Are you buying organic fruits and vegetables to the degree you possible? Are you careful about the amount of plastic that you purchase and consume? And what he was really asking was, it's not about what you eat, it's about what are your decisions? What are your choices like? How do you choose to live in this experience? And the reason the choices are matter because every choice is sacred. Every choice matters. Everything we do, it matters. Now, I, for one, often forget this. And definitely a place that I have desecrated many times is my own body, right? I have not always treated my body as sacred. I have not always loved it thoroughly. I have not always taken as good of care of it as I can. And when I do that, I lose sight. And it's like I once again have forgotten this body is the interdependent, interpenetrating truth. There is no Dave in the world. It's just this. The wings of Zen, compassion and wisdom, bringing spirit into place, into this moment, into this life, which is always now, this very moment, always this. So opportunity is to act as stewards to this realization. Wherever we go, wherever we step, whoever we meet, to bring this realization into being, into life, to remind people, you know, it really matters, this life. You really matter. You matter to me. You matter to others. You matter to the evolution of all creation in this experience. Everything you do is sacred. Within this opening, this awakening to chi, this possibility of ever expanding, ever loving creation. This is the good stuff, right? This is the potential of what we have in this human experience. This is the miracle the miracle of creation, the miracle of mothering, of bringing into being a harmonious and loving world. And we do it with every choice, with every new decision, with every breath. As I like to do in these Zoom rooms, I invite us all to go to gallery view and look around. As we practiced earlier, look, pure awareness. Look, the universe is looking back at you from Russia, from Germany, from Colorado, from New Hampshire, from California, from all around the earth. The universe is looking back at you. And you are looking back at you, the universe. Zoom is really good for the interdependency, right? We can feel each other circling the earth. And we're not separate. We're not apart. We are one Sangha together to celebrate this truth. I'll close with one of my favorite poems from the Mondo Manual, from David White. Enough. These few words are enough. If not these words, this breath. If not this breath, this sitting here, this opening to the life we have refused again and again, until now. Until now. Let us refuse this opening to life no longer. Now is the time to awaken. Now is the time to fully embody your role as a steward of the sacred. Now is the time to know that everything you do is sacred. Happy Mother's Day and Atadipa.